What's up guys, Matt Fragger. I'm back again with another video, and today I'm going to be ranking the Aventus inspired fragrances in my collection. Now, I already know that a lot of you are just going to skip past this video because I think a lot of people are just tired of Aventus clones. Seems like every house on the planet has come out with, at some point or another, a fragrance that's inspired by Aventus. You got clones of Aventus, you got fragrances inspired by it, and they're everywhere. But I just thought I would take a quick, do a quick rundown of the fragrances that I have in my collection that are inspired by the Aventus scent profile, and not just of original Aventus. I know that there's like all the different batches and all that, but then you've also got Aventus Absolute. And for the purposes of this video, and in my opinion, Aventus and Aventus Absolute are fragrances that are similar enough to each other that we can just kind of blanket classify them as Aventus inspired fragrances, whether they may be cloning Aventus Absolute or original Aventus, or a little bit of both, because some of the ones in this list do that. And another thing, I'm not going to include a couple fragrances that I have heard in the community compared to Aventus, and that would be Alfrasan by Lattafa and Cedrat Bosé by Mancera. Now, I have heard both of those fragrances described as Aventus adjacent or Aventus inspired fragrances that smell like Aventus, but in my opinion, Alfrasan is not an Aventus inspired fragrance, or an Aventus clone, if you will. It does have the pineapple, it does have the woody base, but I still wouldn't call it an Aventus clone. And Cedrat Bosé, again, although it is fruity and it is fresh and versatile and has a nice woody base and all that kind of stuff, I also wouldn't say that Cedrat Bosé deserves to be in a list of fragrances that I'm classifying as Aventus clones slash Aventus inspired fragrances. So these are the ones that I have in my collection. I'm going to try to run through these pretty quick. The first one's going to be DeBalm.com's offering, and this is Aventus Balm. This one is a wax-based fragrance, a little tube. You push it up, you put it on your skin. It's wax-based, it's hypoallergenic, and this is going to be good for those of you who are allergic to fragrance. And it does smell like Aventus. They do a pretty decent job of getting the profile. And for being that this is a wax fragrance, it does have a decent amount of projection and longevity to it for what it is, but there's a reason it's at the bottom of the list, and that is it's not going to project or last as long as a traditional fragrance, and it's not going to, although it does, give you the Aventus scent profile, it's not going to do it like some of these other fragrances do. So something has to be last, and that's what's going to be last. The next one that I have is L'Aventure by Al Haramain. This one is, when you smell this, it is apparent that it's an Aventus clone. However, I don't feel that this is a very, it's not the highest quality fragrance. It does have some synthetic kind of feel to it. It also doesn't have the greatest performance. Kind of like average to maybe a little bit above average as far as performance goes. So this is kind of one of those original three, like Mont Blanc Explorer, L'Aventure, and Club de Nuit Intense Man. When I first started collecting fragrances, those are the ones that I heard talked about a lot. I don't ever hear this one talked about anymore. I don't see it come up in lists. I don't see it really spoke about in the community much at all anymore. So, that's kind of the reason why it's maybe down closer to the bottom of this list, is as Aventus inspired fragrances go, it's not one of the best, but it's still a pretty solid fragrance in my opinion. The next one is going to be Midnight Hour by Banana Republic. Picked this one up fairly recently, haven't had a lot of time with it, but enough to know that this is where I feel that it deserves to be in this list. With a lot of these Banana Republic icons, not all of them, but a lot of these, the performance is just average, and that applies to this one as well. I do like that Banana Republic took that kind of scent profile and did their own thing, went in their own direction with it. But it is apparent when you smell it. It is apparent that it's an Aventus inspired kind of deal, and the performance on it isn't all that great. But for just a quick grab and go, this one's going to do fine, and the price point is pretty good. You can even pick this up at your local rack store. So don't be afraid to pick this one up if you see it, because it is a good grab and go Aventus inspired fragrance. So that's Midnight Hour by Banana Republic. The next one is going to be one that I have a really kind of a personal, this is one of my personal favorites. Even though it's a little lower down in the list, this one really impressed me. That's going to be Sapel Noir Man Intense. And this one you can pick up at the rack store for I think I got this for $15 at TJ Maxx. And this one is actually a really good clone of Aventus for the price point. And a house that's, there's probably a lot of you out there that have never heard of this house. I do have another one in this Intense for Men line that's inspired by Invictus Aqua that's also really good, and this one's really good. It gets the scent profile. It locks down that Aventus scent profile. It has good performance, a little above average performance and projection, and that if you're somebody who likes the kind of real smoky kind of birch that you get in Aventus, this one is, from the minute that you spray this on until the end, that smoky birch plays a big role in this one. This is one of those Aventus clones that does open with a lemon bergamot type of citrus fruity opening, as opposed to the pineapple, but a very good fragrance, and one that I think is worth picking up, especially at the price point that you can get it at, at the rack stores especially. So that's Sapel Intense for Men Noir. The next one that I have is a Dua fragrance, and this is going to be Poseidon's Absolute Elixir. And as I stated in the beginning, this one is a clone of Aventus Absolute, but I still wanted to include it in this list because, it's still that kind of general Aventus scent profile. So this one is, as all the Duas are, an extrait de parfum. So that means it's going to have a higher oil concentration. And in most cases with these extraits, the fragrance is going to sit a little bit flatter to your skin, a little less on the projection, but really great longevity. And that's what you have here. This has a really nice pineapple open, and it does the scent profile of Aventus really well, and it does last a long time. A little bit less on the projection though, especially after the first hour or so, the projection kind of really backs off on it. But I haven't had this very long. I just picked this up, and I've just done some kind of just initial testing on it. But I'm familiar enough with the fragrance to this point that I can, confidently say that this is the place that I would put it in this list. Then again, this is my list, my opinions, you know what I mean, of Aventus inspired fragrances that I have in my collection. So this could be different for some of you, obviously, and my opinion may even change over time. But at this moment in time, I think that's a good place for that one on this list. The next one is pretty much going to be almost the same. These are kind of like a tie almost in this position, and that's going to be Alexandria Bosilia Absolute. This one is again a clone of Aventus Absolute, and a really good one. Very high quality here on the presentation. Nice heavy metal cap. Really good atomizer on it, and this one, again, you've got this really nice, juicy kind of pineapple fruity opening, that fruit does kind of that feel sticks with the fragrance for a good bit of time. It does perform really well, above average, but again, this is an extrait, and kind of like the Dua, it's going to sit a little bit flatter to the skin with the higher oil concentration, but I think this does have better projection than the Dua does. This one is going to jump off your skin a little better, and this is a really, really good fragrance and a really good representation of the scent profile, in my opinion. and a very, very good one worth picking up. That's Alexandria Fragrances. The next one is one that I've seen quite a bit lately, popped up in several, I've seen several reviews on it, and it seems like, this is kind of like the flavor of the month when it comes to an Aventus clone. This is kind of your flavor of the month. And this is Supremacy, Offnon's Supremacy Collector's Edition. This one is supposed to be like some kind of bits and pieces from Aventus, the original Aventus profile, and then a little bit of the Aventus Absolute, kind of a little bit of both here. But at the end of the day, again, it's an Aventus inspired fragrance, and it's a really good one with very good quality. Offnon, uses, I have a few Offnon fragrances, including another from this Supremacy line, and the fragrance oils that Offnon uses always seem to be of really high quality. The fragrances are of great quality, and you smell that here. A lot of times when you're comparing a clone fragrance to the original, the scent profile is very, very close. Maybe the performance is really, really close, or sometimes even better on the clone. But one thing you'll notice is when you're smelling a lot of clones, there's a distinguishable kind of it factor, like a kind of vibe that you get out of the real thing that's not quite there in the clone. And it's kind of like an undescribable, just a feel that you get, and like a quality kind of issue. This one is one that it's got that thing, like it's got that deepness, that richness, that just kind of overall quality that you expect from a fragrance that costs a little more money, but you can pick this up for like $30. And quality wise, this might be the best in the list as far as overall quality, and as far as smelling like the original fragrance, but also giving you that kind of like really opulent vibe, like it's an expensive fragrance. It smells expensive. Aventus is a very versatile fragrance, and all of these clones are going to fall into that category as far as versatility goes. You can wear them just about anywhere, anytime, for any occasion. But this is one that is, quality to the point where I think this would be a good one for special occasions, maybe like you're going to a wedding or an anniversary dinner, whatever. But you could also throw this thing on and go out and mow the grass. You could throw this on and go to Walmart to pick up some groceries. But I do feel like the quality here is really, really good. That's the reason that I decided to pull the trigger on this one, is because I know how good quality you're going to get from Offnon. And that's why I decided to go ahead and grab this and give it a try. And I'm glad that I did, because it's a really high quality clone of Aventus. And I really like this one a lot. It deserves the hype that it gets. That's Offnon's Supremacy Collector's Edition, and that is a really good one. And the last one, and my favorite one, and this is going to be, again, just in general, there's things about all of these that I like, that I have, an affinity for, that I think each of these has kind of their own little, thing about them that makes them situationally, good. And like this one, the De Balm one, is really good if you're allergic to fragrances, or if you don't want to spray on a traditional fragrance. These ones down here near the bottom are a little better. Like if you don't need something with a whole lot of performance, you just want a kind of a grab and go that it's not going to last that long, but it's going to smell pretty decent. And then the higher ends, out of the higher end ones here, I feel like Club de Nuit Intense Man is still my favorite clone of Aventus. I know that there's other iterations of this. There's several different types of this fragrance. There's the Parfum version, there's the limited edition Parfum, they have an extrait now. So there's different formulations, if you will, different flankers of this fragrance. And this one gets a lot of flack, because the opening can be harsh, can be screechy, maybe a little off-putting to certain people. It's not an Aventus clone that opens with the pineapple fruity feel. It's more of it's lemon, and some people have an issue with the lemon in the open here, and I can, again, fragrance is very subjective. Everybody's got their own opinions. My opinion is that this is a wonderful fragrance that gets the scent profile right, that lasts a long time, projects very well. Performance on this is great, as I'm sure you've heard a lot of people say. And it just has what I'm looking for in every category. This fragrance, in my opinion, this fragrance in every category is checking all the boxes. And just in a general sense, I think this does, the best job. And that's why I have it at number one. Because, and again, my opinion, this is the king of clones. This is a fragrance that kind of revolutionized the movement of clones into the industry that we've seen happen over the last couple years. Clones have, really, really kind of just skyrocketed into the stratosphere as far as their popularity and how many of them there are. It seems like every day there's, so many different clones popping up for just about everything you can think of. But this is one that stood the test of time. I still see people today talking about how good this is, recommending it to people. Of course, a lot of the people out there are going to recommend the Parfum, the limited edition Parfum version of this. But for my 2 cents, I say that Club de Nuit Intense Man, the original formulation, this bottle right here, is going to do it for you on whatever front you need it to. It's going to last. It's going to smell great. It's going to get compliments. It's going to be versatile. I like the presentation on it. Nice heavy bottle. Armaf, you could do without putting the little stones here on every single fragrance you make. Like they could, you could probably step back from that a little bit. But other than that, I just think that Club de Nuit Intense Man is is sitting on the throne as far as, at this price point, a great Aventus clone that performs really well, smells really great, really versatile, all that stuff I already said. And that's why it's at the number one spot in my list. I love this thing. I'll always have a bottle of this in my collection. And even though, much like Sauvage, Dior Sauvage, CDNIM has become one of those fragrances, in my opinion, that's almost shunned to a point because, it's overdone, overhyped, analyzed, I guess. And there's legitimately a lot of people out there that feel like the quality isn't up to par, and that the scent profile isn't up to par with what they're expecting, and that's fine. That's good thing for you people, for those of you in that category. There's plenty of Aventus clones to go around. There's no shortage of Aventus clones, but the ones that I have in my collection, these 8 right here. That is the order that I would put them in. And these are all good, solid fragrances. These are all, pretty good for the price that you're going to pay for them. They're worth picking up. And I guess it just comes down to, since there's so many Aventus inspired fragrances out there, it really comes down to what's your situation? What are you going to wear the fragrance for? Like what, situation are you going to wear it in? And what do you need out of the fragrance? And also, like I said, a lot of these differ as far as if they're giving you the lemon opening or the pineapple. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like you're going to find a lot of Aventus inspired fragrances that go one way or the other there. And personally, I prefer the pineapple. If I had to choose between the two, I say I like the pineapple a little better as far as the fruit and the opening in the fragrance. But that's not to say that I still don't pick Club de Nuit Intense Man as my favorite. So, you know, a lot of variables there. And again, I know that there's a ton of Aventus inspired fragrances out there and a ton of content that's, you know, covering those fragrances. And some people are getting really tired of hearing about Aventus clones. But I just figured I'd put together just a quick representation of the Aventus inspired fragrances I have in my collection and what I think of them and the rank that I would put them in, and that's what it is. So thanks for watching another video, guys. I appreciate you watching. I hope that this didn't go on, I hope I didn't ramble on too long in this video, but those of you who watched till the end, kudos to you, thanks a lot. And for those of you who haven't subscribed to the channel, I would appreciate it if you would do so. Be super cool. And I appreciate you watching another video. I'm the Mad Fragger. I'll see you next time.